But yeah, so
she's a fast birther, so all hers came out.
Yep. I had three home births, and all my labors were only 5 hours long, and so I'm very grateful, and it's just a beautiful, remarkable experience. It makes me feel like I can do anything. It makes me feel like I can get through anything. So. Yeah,
that's amazing.
I'm gonna do it again.
Yes, that's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
So it's important to know though that there are resources even if you cannot have a home birth, that you can have that holistic support, that natural support in a hospital setting. So as a doula, which of course I started out as, letting them know their options when it came to hospital, and knowing that you have all of these options. These are not things that you have to say yes to. You don't have to be forced into certain things. You don't have to be forced into an epidural. You don't have to be forced into, different immunizations or like baby procedures after the baby's here. But empowering yourself to know that, and informing yourself to be empowered in making the correct choices for you and your family, and knowing that everybody's journey is different. It's not just the mother or other parents' journey, it's also that child's journey. So what are you empowering your child to come into their own after they're born? So that's the whole entire process that I'm so grateful to be a part of.
Awesome.
So how many home births have you done? Have you lost count?
Overall,
She's so busy. Chastity is always busy.
I had 3 in March, but they weren't all home births. There was 2 home births and 1 hospital birth in March. So I do both. I've done over 50 births that I've attended, and I attended one of hers.
Yes, you did. I was so grateful.
Was it for her room?
Yes, it was for her room.
Okay.
It was amazing. It was good. All my labor started at midnight, and he was born at like 5:09 in the morning. Wow. So I'm so grateful to have had you and Yolanda there, and it was beautiful.
It's very peaceful, and you can see, like, we try to help recreate that like peaceful environment of the home. It's going to be different because you have all these different machines, even though one of the local hospitals is really trying to move away from a lot of the technology and do it's high touch, low tech. So you can request that room. They have 2 of them currently, and then they're trying to branch out and create a few more. But just knowing that you can be as empowered in the hospital as you are at home, as long as you select a care provider and whoever their backups are know what you want, what you are planning on having, even though plans do change. Just letting them know that this is where we would like to go with this is the most important thing.
So is it good to create a birth plan?
Yes.
It's good to create
it's good to do your research.
And it might change.
It's good to know that the policies at the hospital, if you are having a hospital birth, what their policies are in case of different things, so that you are aware of what's happening, and finding your voice. So a doula, and not to speak for all doulas, but we kind of help you through that during the course of your pregnancy.
Yeah,
so coming up with we give you the stuff to research, we answer any questions that you have, we come up with a birth plan, make sure you're staying on top of your nutrition, and then just formulating the plan for like when we come in, when we start giving you that support, if that also includes postpartum support, because again, like it was mentioned earlier by one of the previous guests, it's building the village, and being that support that we used to have, and reconnecting that with each other. So the support isn't just before pregnancy or just during pregnancy, but there's also a postpartum period that we check in with you.
That time is so important.
It is. I know I had a little episode of it. Luckily, it wasn't as bad as it can get, but I did have a little episode of that.
And it can come late. It can come a year later sometimes. I had mine a whole year later.
Yeah.
So what does a doula do, and what is the difference between that and a midwife?
Well, a doula is like your spiritual, emotional, physical support through your labor and delivery process. So we're the ones that are rubbing your back, doing the counter pressure, reminding you to stay focused, doing those meditations or those mantras to help you stay focused and focus on your breathing. Midwife is trained to know everything about your whole entire system, about the baby, about knowing if something's going wrong physically or medically, and they're trained to be those eyes and that space holder for you. So as a doula, you're not supposed to catch the baby. You're not supposed to, do any of do it like cutting the cord or making sure doing newborn exam. Like that's all midwife duties. A midwife is also. Some people compare it to your OBGYN. So you go to a midwife, which you see your midwife a lot more frequently. You have prenatals every month with them. They go over your nutrition with you, making sure that you're on track. But the difference between a midwife and an OBGYN is a midwife is woman-centered or birthing partner-centered. So they focus on your health and your well-being and empowering you with knowing what your body is going through and kind of putting that into your hands, whereas an OBGYN tells you have 15 minutes with this person once a month and you're supposed to know everything in those 15 minutes, whereas like midwife will sit with you for a whole hour.
What are some good ways to prepare your womb or prepare your body during pregnancy?
During pregnancy or before?
Herbs? Just before and during.
Well, before you could do different like yoni steams. I feel nutrition is really important, but also not just physical nutrition, but spiritual and emotional nutrition is important. So getting into a healthier practice of connecting with yourself and connecting with what you hold as sacred within yourself, so that you can be that ultimate vessel for that child.
Okay, so like you said that for the whole pregnancy, like they can have their, like just like they would if they were at the hospital, they can have their prenatal appointments with you guys once a month. Is it once a month?
It's typically in the beginning it's once a month, then it gets closer to your due date, just like how the OB works. Right.
Okay, that's cool.
It's very similar, but the great thing about it is the appointment is up to an hour long. It's much more about building a relationship with you because you are allowing us into your space and into your energy to help you bring this baby into the world. It's not just some quick 15-minute like, okay, here's your weight, here's your heart rate, here's the baby's heart rate, and we'll see you in a month. It's much more detailed, and it opens a space for you to ask those important questions like, why am I having issues going to the bathroom right now? Or I'm having this nerve pain down the side of my body. That way you can ask those important questions and get the answers more efficiently than calling the nurse and waiting, a day or so to get a word back of why you're in a certain discomfort.
Right. Okay. And then like ultrasounds and things like that, they check those things in the home too?
They do, and it's a lot more low tech though, because you don't need as much radiation as they give off. So some midwives have ultrasound equipment, others have come in and do Dopplers so that they can check the baby's heart rate. Some of the older midwives, they actually have the very original, like it looks like this long funnel that they can put up to your stomach and get the heart rate that way. So that's a challenge right there.
Okay, and then what I found interesting too is that you can do things with the placenta after you have the baby.
Yes.
I have a cousin who went with you for her childbirth, and she was telling me that you made smoothies with her placenta, and that helped with like postpartum and things like that.
Yep, it helps with postpartum. It helps bring in your milk supply faster.
Awesome.
And just kind of rebalance you in those hormones in that earlier period of time. You can do it in smoothies, you can do it in capsules. You can do it in tinctures for long term.
Okay, that's awesome. I know you had, I actually reached out to you to find somebody to do my henna when I was pregnant. Jillian Hawkins, she did an amazing job, and we talked about birthing, and she told me that she did the capsules with her placenta. So that's one regret that I have about the hospital. Like, I didn't get to see my placenta. I wanted to see it. I didn't get to see my umbilical cord. I mean, my husband did cut it, but, it was just things I wanted to see that was in my body that was helping this baby grow and everything that I didn't get to see,
Well,
so.
we're gonna have it again.
Yes. Okay, so where can we find you?
I am at www.loveandlightheal.com.
www.loveandlightheal.com.
And just locally in the community. I have a couple events coming up, so they're on the website.
Okay.
Yes.
Check it on out, y'all.
Yes.
She is awesome. She's doing work in the community too, making more of us more aware of the options that we have out there and just knowing our body more. Spending that time with you in your space, and as you bring into a new addition into your home, and just doing a more holistic approach at it. So do not forget her face either. Another representation of just sisterhoods and recreating those, growing those villages back up, and just that support and the knowledge and the resources. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Definitely appreciate your presence today. Thank you for your time. Let's talk about,
protective styles.
that's our hair tip of the week, protective styles. We both have one in our hair
both
right
are wearing
now.
protective styles.
We've been wearing protective styles.
Yeah.
I think we haven't had our own hair out since the second episode. I think that's about right.
Yeah, I know the third episode I wore my head wrap.
Second
Which
episode.
is also
you were-
protective style.
But yeah, that is a protective style. And our topic today is motherhood, and that's one reason in itself why protective styles are a great go-to. We have kids, we got responsibilities, we have so many hats that we have to wear. Sometimes if we could just eliminate one thing for our daily schedule, doing hair sometimes 30 plus minutes, 45 minutes, depending on what you're doing, or every night, you know, sometimes having to, if you have your actual hair out, having to put that up every single night can sometimes, I've skipped some nights.
We gotta put the kids to sleep.
Yeah, you trying to get them ready, you trying to get their hair done, give them baths, get their clothes on, get your clothes on, do this, do that. So,
there's a couple ways you can do protective styles. You can do protective styles with your own natural hair, and protective styles typically means when your ends are tucked under, braided under, so they're not laying on your shoulders, laying on your clothes, rubbing on your clothes. And then there's also protective styling where you can extend your hair, with braids or twists or whatever.
and just the benefits from them, just like she said, protecting your ends, that's really the main reason for protective styles. Like when you have your own hair out and you're twisting it up at night or plaiting them, it's to protect your ends, to make sure those are protected, because that's the most sensitive part of our hair.
Yeah, so we can retain our length.
So like when we had our relaxers and we were doing a wrap, that was the protective style. That was, you know, so that's what I'm always telling my clients when I'm telling them to put their hair up. Like braiding your hair up at night was equivalent to wrapping your hair up at night when we were all wearing the relaxers and wrapping them.
Make sure to, when you are getting a protective style from a stylist, or when you're doing it yourself, make sure that you do seal the ends and moisturize really good, and you know, use your whip butters or your creams to moisturize your hair. Another great thing to do when you're having your hair protectively styled, whether you're doing it yourself or having a stylist do it, is making sure that it's moisturized really well with your creams or your whip butters, just so that it's softened and protected, and also making sure that you have your ends clipped before having a protective style like box braids or cornrows or faux box goddess box, Marley twists, anything like that. Make sure you have your ends trimmed, because it helps at takedown times for you. It helps you to not have as much breakage at takedown time.
And when you're like, if you want to wear your twist out so you don't have that frizz at the end, it can just bounce out. If it's just like freely bounces out, it's just like that silky, like I love when my twist outs and stuff do that. It's because I moisturize my ends, I sealed them with my oils, and I had a nice trim. And remember, we talked about trims earlier in the hair tip of the week before too, about just doing it like quarterly. You don't have to do it often, especially if you're taking care of it. If you are doing your protective styles, that will make sure that you don't have to trim as often. You might have to trim more often if you're not taking care of your hair properly. So even when you're doing your protective styles, we still need to make sure we're using our satin bonnets when we go to bed at night. If you're a wild sleeper, a good backup will have a satin pillowcase, just in case your bonnet falls off. You can fall back on that satin pillowcase.
And two, depending on what style you have, don't leave your protective style in for too long. I typically don't like to leave a style in my hair no more than 2 months or 2.5 months. That's it. After that, I'm gonna take it out and wear my own hair out again.
Because they'll start to lock. They will start locking. I had some braids I left in one time, and yeah, they were starting to lock on up on me. So definitely absolutely no more than 3 months. No more than 3 months.
And even with your protective styling, make sure that you're moisturizing your scalp and the hair, the extension hair too.
Yep, you can still do that.
With oils or leave-in conditioner.
Yep. Protect. What else did I want to say? So she did kind of elaborate on different types of protective styles. So like we said, without extensions, you can do protective styles. I like to do the twist, like small twist, if I want to keep something in long. And then I can kind of get a couple 2 and 3 furs out of that. I can stretch the hairstyle out. I can take the twist down after a couple of weeks and have a twist out. And then once that twist out gets old, I can do some nice pinups with those. So that's good. And then the styles with extensions, I like extension styles because I feel like those last a little bit longer than the protective styles with my own hair, especially depending on what I'm doing. If I'm somebody who likes to work out a lot, if I'm somebody who sweats easily or gets hot really easily, the
very
protective styles, very low. That's what it really is too. Very low maintenance. Somebody who doesn't have the time to do their hair a lot or doesn't like to do their hair a lot, or if you're just coming into the natural journey and you don't know what to do, a protective style is a nice fallback. So it's like, okay, I could just leave this alone for a minute, get my thoughts together. Great way to transition. It's just so many great things in protective styles.
To take care of your protective style as well. Some styles you can wash. If you are wearing a sew-in or a weave as protective style, like something, bundles or whatever, you can wash those. You can do a dry shampoo if you have box braids or Marley twists. Or you can create your own spray bottle mixture with distilled water, tea tree oil, peppermint, lavender, just to keep your scalp fresh. And you can lightly shampoo your scalp just to keep your scalp clean, because that's important too.
And the dry shampoos are good with natural hair because sometimes your hair can poof out. Like when I had relaxed hair, I could shampoo my hair, condition it, everything, and it was fine. But if I tried to wash my hair and condition and do all of that type of stuff, it will poof out. So I'll have poofs hanging out my braids and stuff. So I like the dry shampoos for that.
Yeah, it helps the style to last longer. Yeah, because the protective styles can cost quite a bit sometimes.
Yeah,
so it's good to preserve them, but they're well worth it.
Yeah.
Low maintenance, beautiful, don't have to deal with it. You
and
go
I think,
swimming, whatever you want.
And I think our hair grows best when it's left alone. Even though we can manipulate our hair to do a lot of things, it's best when it's left alone. I think that's why locks grow so well. I got people that got locks down their back because it's really, you don't really have to do anything. Just, you definitely still have to put some care to it, but yeah. We can go on about protective styles, but that's the hair tip of the week.